Hey, did you know that a significant number of Canadians may be deficient in vitamin D, which is why my whole family, we take a supplement each and every day.
I take a daily supplement too because I don't want to be deficient, even though I actually don't really know exactly what that entails. Fortunately, our next guest does. So here with everything we all need to know about vitamin D deficiency and how a new product from Youtheory can actually help. Please welcome back to the show registered dietitian and nutritionist Nishta Saxena.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Great to be here.
Okay, so Nishta, let's start with the basics. What is vitamin D and why is it beneficial for all of us?
So vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, and it works in many systems in the body, which is why it is so important. So we're going to see it in our bone health, bone strength. We're going to see it in our muscle development. We're going to see it in our immune system and in our mood, making sure our mood is balanced.
Okay, I think a lot of people think vitamin D, it's sunshine. That's where we get, that's why my excuse why I always try to find a beach somewhere around the world.
Yes.
But how is that accurate, first of all? And if not, where else can we get it?
It's not that it's inaccurate. So we do use sunshine to convert vitamin D in our skin when it's exposed to create that hormone in our body that we need. The problem is, in Canada in particular, our latitude, we're so far north, we have such ozone damage, unfortunately, that we're not going to be able to convert what we need from sunshine alone. And so you can get vitamin D in food. So we have some examples here: fatty fish, salmon, sardines, fortified dairy products like milk and yogurt, eggs, and mushrooms that have been exposed to UV. But even with all of these foods, Canadians are not getting enough vitamin D, and that is why our guidelines suggest we need to take a supplement 365 days a year. You know, if you have a chronic condition like diabetes, etc., that can also impact your ability to make vitamin D.
Okay, so what can happen over time if we don't get enough vitamin D into our body?
Well, if you think of those systems, it's kind of related to each system. So you can have everything when it comes to bones, to bone health, you know, joint soreness. You can even have muscle weakness and fatigue, those respiratory infections, you know, your immune system doesn't work the way it should, and then just really difficult to recover from illness or exercise.
So clearly you want to avoid all those issues. So what are the potential symptoms, though, of vitamin D deficiency that we should be aware of?
Well, it's kind of all of those things. You want to think about, you know, if you have joint pain, bone pain, mood disruption, you know, mild depression, seasonal affective disorder, as well as those respiratory issues that can happen as well if you're deficient.
Got it.
And so when we think about vitamin K, which is also very important in our health, they kind of work together. Vitamin K is also a fat-soluble vitamin, and that is important for, there's two forms of it, K1 and K2, and it's important for kind of different reasons. So vitamin D is helping us get calcium into our body, but vitamin K helps activate these proteins in our bones that help absorb the calcium into the bones. And that's especially important because we don't want calcium floating around in our arteries, in our heart, in our system. We want it to be inside of our bones because we want to avoid that settling into our arteries. It also helps with blood clotting.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dig into those food sources.
Yes.
Like I take a K2D3 supplement.
Right.
They're paired together.
Yeah.
Every day, so does my daughter, so does my husband. So let's look at those food options first. So what are some examples that are rich of vitamin K in terms of whole food sources?
Yes, so vitamin K1 and K2. So K1 is really the dark leafy greens. So I'm not talking about lettuce. We really want the dark, hard-hitting greens, as I call them, kale, you know, Brussels sprouts, broccoli. And then vitamin K2 is going to be more for fermented foods as well as some animal-based products. So we have examples here: natto, which is soybeans that are fermented. We have liver, which is a wonderful, very rich source. We have chicken, eggs, and even hard cheeses. So the combination of K1 and K2 is important, but K2 in particular tends to have better impact on bone and heart health.
Okay, so honestly, this is kind of blowing my mind because I've been taking vitamin D for a long time. I don't think I've ever heard of vitamin K.
Yeah.
So why are these two, they pair so well together?
Well, it's because they're kind of doing two parts of the same job in all of those different systems. So we talked about calcium absorption. We need both to do that. We talked about bone health and as well supporting the immune system. So that's why when they are paired together, they are so incredibly important. And you know, I see on social media all the time right now, people are always looking for the newest supplement, right? A trend, a fad. This is not a trendy supplement. This is a foundational supplement, K2 and D3 together, that will really support your health in multiple ways.
And sorry, and is it better than to do those two together than, like, let's say calcium and vitamin D together, or?
It's an interesting question. I think you do need all of them, but in particular, we want to have D3 and K2 together because they're working together at the same time to take calcium and get it into the right spot.
Got it.
Yeah.
At the right time. Okay.
Yes.
So listen, if we're not able to get sufficient amounts through
Yes.
our food, which is always, where we should be starting, I think.
Yes.
You've brought a K2D3 supplement. So tell us about it.
Yes, so this supplement by Youtheory is so thoughtfully formulated. I absolutely love it because it contains those two things we just talked about, D3 and K2, together in one supplement to help with bone health, calcium absorption, immune support. And the beauty of it is it's actually delicious, which means you're gonna take it in that gummy format. It's peach flavor, but it actually uses natural fruits and vegetables to flavor it, so you're not getting all of that added sugar. And then another really nice part is it suits many diets. It doesn't contain gelatin, it contains pectin, and it's also gluten-free and dairy-free, so perfect for vegetarian diets or any specific dietary restrictions. Yeah.
That's great. Is there anything we should know in advance about taking a K2D3 supplement?
Well, I just remind people you really want this on board when something's happening. When you get an infection, you want it on board, so you need to take it consistently. You want to take it every day, and you want to take it with food that contains fat, because these are fat-soluble vitamins. And remember that this is a very useful supplement. It is not a trend. It's something that so many groups, older people, postmenopausal women, many of our population need this on board to help them with their health.
Okay, kids can take this?
This particular product, I would probably not have kids specifically take. You would want to just look at a formulation that is for kids at the right levels.
Right.
However, the concept of taking vitamin D3 and K2 is definitely something that's appropriate for children. So children definitely do need a vitamin D supplement, but it might be a different dose.
A different dosage.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Nishta, we love the info always. Thank you so much for helping and getting us healthy. All right. Of course, as always, check with your own doctor before taking anything new, and always read and follow the label.